In this video, we're going to talk to you about, we're going to let CNN talk to you about Biden's poll numbers and how they are, in their own words, brutal. Hello, my name is Kyle and welcome to the channel. In this video, again, we're going to let CNN tell you about Biden's poll numbers. A new Q poll came out. We're going to talk about that. But before we do that, anytime I talk about polls and elections, I got to talk about the elephant in the room. Go to gate.theconservativetake.com. Sign up there. It's free. I have some videos out there concerning things I can't talk about elections here on YouTube. Enough said on that. In this video right now, I'm going to show you this clip, CNN, about what happened this week of this Q poll and the internals of it, which I'm shocked that even CNN decided to report on it. Let's hear what they have to say.
These new poll numbers, frankly, are brutal for the president. In this brand new Quinnipiac poll, only 38% of Americans approve of how Biden is handling his job compared to
38%.
53% who disapprove. That's the lowest approval rating Biden has had since taking office. Another striking number, only 39% of Americans approve of Biden's handling of the economy.
39% on handling the economy. That's horrible for a Democrat.
55% say they disapprove of the job he's doing on the economy. When asked, is Joe Biden an honest president? 44% of Americans say yes. 50%, a plurality, say no.
It just gets worse.
And one of the most damning results of all, more than half of the American people, 55%, say the Biden administration is not competent in running the government.
42% says he's not competent. Let's take a look at this. This is what they're talking about here. This is the Biden administration not competent according to President's worst Quinnipiac poll so far. And it says here, the honeymoon is definitely over. Less than 9 months after taking office with the most votes. By presidential candidate, ex-Vice President Biden approval rating has hit a new low as majority of those surveyed question his administration's competence. The Q poll released Thursday shows that the ex-vice president stands at 38% positive to 53% negative. This is the first time a majority of those asked are not satisfied with the Biden administration is doing. This is interesting considering the fake news media is doing everything they can do to protect this guy. And here's the actual Q poll here. I can go through some of this in a second here for you guys. But the key thing to understand is that this administration is a complete and utter disaster. And despite what the media is trying to do to cover for him, to carry the water for him, to hide news from us about him and his administration, to give a pass to Kamala, his administration, on handling issues such as the southern border, in which she's supposed to be the czar of that, in dealing with Afghanistan, prosecuting a military veteran hero for stating the truth, and it's anything about that, or even giving him a pass when it comes to withholding help for people who don't agree with him. We'll leave it there in terms of demonetization. Look at Florida in that example that I'm referring to. Here it says here that the handling of the issues, that Biden received negative scores in double digits in all but one key issue when Americans were asked about the handling of the response to the COOF at 48%, while 50% disapprove. The economy, 39% approve, while 55% disapprove. His job as commander-in-chief in the U.S. military, 37%, this isn't even funny, 37% approve, while 58% disapprove. Foreign policy, 34% approve, while 58% disapprove. Immigration issues, 25% approve, while 67% disapprove. This is insane. That number there is absolutely insane. I'm reading this for the first time. I didn't get a chance to really prep this video like I wanted to, but that number is insane. And I mentioned to you guys before that the radical left is somewhere around 20 to 25% of the population, somewhere in there. And that is what we're looking at. That is when you have core issues, when issues are framed in such a way that they can't escape, they can't deviate from, you know, the actual question and try to say, well, maybe the questioner means this. No, that's what you get. That's the radical left doing that. The rest of the country, the same part of the country, is going to be in the moderate level or the conservative level. And that's exactly what we're seeing. This is a trend over and over and over again. And this is a direct result from the left moving so far to the Marxist communist side of ideology that they alienated everyone else in their party, leaving only the wackos behind. And the only way they can win is, well, tell you what, go look at that video on gate.theconservativetake.com. I can explain to you there if you don't already know where I'm going with that. Let's continue on. The situation with the Mexican border at 23% approve. Again, immigration is a huge concern for Americans. Even Latinos who are here legally, even, and blacks really should be that way, because we're seeing how black people in this country are being pushed aside for that, even though they have more at stake invested in this country than anyone coming over a border for the first time. It just doesn't make any sense why people could not be on the side of border security, right? And I go as far as even saying that we need to have merit-based immigration, but that I would just take a border security for now. All right. And lastly, it says here, the situation at the Mexican border, 23% approve and 67% disapprove. Again, that whole thing is just falling right in line there. When it comes to Biden's personal traits, Americans were asked whether or not Biden cares about average Americans. 49% says yes, and 48% say no. That's probably a fair question. I mean, that's probably a fair question compared to 58% to 37% in April. Now that's interesting. Okay. If someone had come to me and said that Biden is at 49% to 48% in terms of caring for Americans and not caring for Americans respectfully, I would have said, well, that's probably our party line votes. However, to say that it went down from 58 to 37 in a matter of, what's that, say October, 6 months is astronomical, because that means that 58 to 37 is a bipartisan deal there. Now people have totally flipped the script, and the trend is what I'm trying to bring out here is horrifying. If I was the Biden administration, has good leadership skills, 41% says yes, while 56% say no, compared to 44% in April. See, it's these trends that I want to talk about here. It's crazy. And this whole Quinnipiac poll goes deep into here. I'll leave a link to all this down there. It goes into some interesting numbers here. I'm not gonna go into that, but let's look at this spin here from Newsweek. It says here, Joe Biden's approval rating is mixed as president struggles to push through agenda. So, even in the headline here, they're trying to spin it in a way that makes it seem like, well, it's mixed, which means it's not tanking. No, it's absolutely tanking. You don't believe me? Let's go to Real Clear Politics. And this is an aggregate of all the polls that are out there are current. He's got an RCP average, which means the Real Clear Politics average. It takes all these different polls, kind of like Rotten Tomatoes, right? And aggregates them together and gives you a final score. Negative 6.9. You see here, well, are there any outliers here? Well, you have Q poll here is negative 13. Well, that could be an outlier. Oh, nope, it can't be, because the Trafficker group is negative 16 and Rasmussen is negative 12. Now, Q poll is a fairly liberal poll, so for them to be 13 is pretty bad. And Trafficker group doesn't deal with polling, they deal with actual data on the ground, and they aggregate that in. They're very, very accurate. And Rasmussen, we said before, they're extremely accurate, and they've been accurate for many, many cycles going back. The most accurate polls here that we know of have it in double digits. And the ones that have them ahead, Reuters is +1. We know for a fact with those are very leftist. So you can just give us 5 points there, negative. So he's probably at a -6 there or -5 there. So this IBD tip poll is +4, which is an outlier. So for that, I would throw that one out, and I would throw out, let's say, the Trafficker group poll, but still looking at -5 spread across the board. So we can all say that Biden isn't doing very well. So here's the trends here. Let me take myself out of the picture here and show you. Back in January, okay, pretty high, 55.5 to 35.5. Everyone wants to give the guy a chance. But as we go forward, as they find out more, as the media can't hide as much stuff as possible, and they're trying their best to carry his water, and as we're getting into July, they're like, oh no, this guy really isn't doing what we thought he was going to do, and they just can't hide it. And finally, when we get to August 20th, we see it flip now. Now the disapproval is higher than the approval, and it just keeps going further and further down. As we see lastly where we are now in October, it is trending radically. Look at that, radically in the opposite direction. So it's those kind of trends, those kind of numbers we're seeing that would drive any campaign manager or administration crazy, pulling their hair out, trying to figure out what to do. I'll have more on that and what they're going to do and what their strategy is going to be to try and curtail this into his administration, what they're trying to do with the budget spending and with this new Build Back Better $5.5 trillion bill, which actually is no money at all. It's actually free money, according to the administration, and how they're going to try and curtail that into the midterms to try and save seats. But I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it. We have a video on how we think the Republicans are going to take the House and possibly the Senate, and along with some rhinos along the way. We're going to update that video soon, but for now, we'll leave a link right above on that so you can check that out. And also, there are other videos here that you may want to check out. We are really close to 5,000 subscribers. We'd be happy if you join on board with us. We're going to do a video in celebration of that once that finally crosses over. It's been a long journey, and I want to thank everyone so much. I don't do this enough in terms of thanking. I should do it more, but thank you everyone who has been supportive of this channel over the years. And we have so many cool plans lined up, and I'm excited to tell you about it. And I just want to thank you very much. Okay. And with that, we have some more content for you that you may want to check out that we have picked out for you right